Good afternoon, Bellevue students, families, guardians, and community members. I am Ivan Duran, and I am honored to serve as your superintendent. First off, I hope you and your families are doing well and staying healthy. Once again, we find ourselves in extremely challenging times, and it is different. Last spring, we were responding to a health pandemic. Since that time, we have also seen a social justice pandemic that centers on race and how some people are treated in our society. We are also dealing with an economic pandemic, and we are seeing more businesses being impacted negatively. This has impacted many of our families, and the need for support has increased, and it will continue to increase. I also have to emphasize that we are not through any of the pandemics yet, so I encourage everyone to be safe. Wear masks, follow physical distancing guidelines, and do your part to ensure that we can reopen our schools and reopen our society in the very near future. Throughout this time, I am very grateful for our staff, families, and especially you, our students, because of the creative ways that you have responded to the public health crisis we're all facing. We also want to provide more in-person opportunities for our students who want and need additional opportunities. We have been serving over 800 students in person since September, and we have mitigated risk with no COVID transmission in our buildings. The health and safety of our students and staff remains a top priority. In addition, we have another 1,800 students who are being served in athletic pods. Our current staff and buildings are trained, and we have focused on their health and safety during the 2021 school year. I am not sure if we're going to be able to have more broad return to school plans for all of you, but we're hopeful the vaccine will bring some additional safety and opportunity for all of you to be in school at some point this year. We care about you, and we want to meet your needs in the best possible way during this time. The goal of today's virtual town hall is to give you, our juniors, information about our plans to support you and your families this year. Last year, we were able to build upon the great work that had happened until March in our schools, but this year is so different. We started off in a virtual mode, and we've had to adjust our plans to support you during these challenging times. As I mentioned earlier, we're not sure when we're going to have more of our secondary students in receiving in-person services, so things are just very different during this time. The Bellevue staff and community members want to help you be creators of your future world, and we want to partner with you to identify how you would like to finish your final semester, this upcoming year as Bellevue students. We join you and other members in our community, the nation, and the world as we figure out how to confront one of the greatest health threats of our time, a threat that has profoundly affected every citizen on this planet. Although we have never experienced a global crisis like this one, as a school district and community, we are figuring out how to do our work in new ways, and we are figuring out how to work together in new ways. We are better when we work together and rise to this challenge together. So please stay healthy, remember to wear a mask when you're around others, follow physical distancing, and avoid large gatherings. It is now my honor to hand this over to Dr. Patty Siegworth and the team that has prepared this session for you. Thank you all, and much success to all of you. Dr. Siegworth?
Thank you, Dr. Duran. This afternoon's presentation is geared to meet the needs of you, our class of 2022 juniors. Thank you to those juniors who submitted questions to us in advance. Your questions really helped to frame today's session. Many of the questions you raised focused on timely issues, such as academic and social emotional supports and resources, graduation requirements, a lot of questions about the high school and beyond plan components and the college application process, of which we know many of you are heavily immersed. Some of you had wonderings about varied events, such as activities and athletics, and yes, even testing, advanced placement, and international baccalaureate. There were a few inquiries related to when are we going to be able to return to school, beyond those high school students who are already receiving in-person supports. While we will be addressing the other questions in our presentation today, specifics have not yet been solidified related to secondary students returning to school at a greater level than we are serving today. So unfortunately, that will not be addressed in today's presentation. Joining me today are select Bellevue School District high school counselors and college and career advisors, as well as central office support staff. Each are really excited to partner with you to ensure your junior year is rich and engaging, and that you actually receive the information you need to help guide you throughout the year and into your senior year. We're really excited to be here with you today and appreciate you taking the time to join us. As we progress through today's session, I want you to know that the question and answer section is open, and you are welcome to submit your questions throughout the presentation, and we'll prioritize answering those for you. Starting us off today is Corinne Bowen. She's Director of Counseling, and she's going to be sharing valuable information in support of your social emotional health and wellness. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you very much, Patty, for that. Hi, my name is Corinne Bowen, and I'm the Director of Counseling. Today, I'm here to talk with you about social emotional supports. You've been on my mind a lot lately, of course. These are uncertain times for all of us, and I can't imagine what you've been going through for the last 10 months. I hope that you keep the information that I'm about to share somewhere close so you can access it as you need it. Given all that has happened with the pandemic and the social unrest in our country, it would be very normal for you to feel stressed, anxious, sad, and maybe even depressed. However, please know that there's support and help available for you. Stress is a very uncomfortable feeling that you get when you're worried, you're scared, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're overwhelmed. It is caused by emotions, but it also affects your mood and body. Stress is natural and necessary reaction for all of your to your environments, and it shows up in different ways for for everybody. Many people are likely experiencing more stress than usual due to the pandemic and unrest in our country. When we feel stressed, we can typically label the cause as, it could be school, it could be family, it could be friend. So some common signs of stress include difficulty sleeping. It could be feeling overwhelmed, worrying, sadness, loneliness, and grief are also common and expected emotions that we all experience. Some signs of sadness include feeling low, upset it could be for a specific reason, such as a fight with a loved one, not being able to see your friends. Sadness will decrease naturally over time. Similarly, with stress, many of us are likely experiencing more sadness and loneliness while we're in quarantine and unable to do the things we used to do. Try to avoid isolating yourself. Call your friends or family, hang out virtually or in person if that's possible and if it's safe. Play multiplayer games where you can't interact with your peers, etc. Those are some suggestions. Get involved in activities that you enjoy or used to enjoy doing, such as drawing, listening to music, or reading. Talk with a trusted adult about how you are feeling. But what if it's not getting better and and the feelings are too intense? Then that could potentially be depression. Depression involves experiences of distressing emotions that are different than everyday feelings of sadness. In fact, depression may seem to center around other emotions like frustration, anger, or even emotional numbness. Some warning signs of depression include feelings of sadness, hopelessness, or empty on most days, loss of interest in things that you used to enjoy, changes in eating, sleeping, and hygiene routines, trouble focusing on or it could be other academic changes. It could be feeling of isolation or self-harm or thoughts of death or suicide. So there are resources available for you if you're having all of those feelings that I just talked about a few minutes ago. There are a lot of people to connect with at school virtually if you're having a hard time, or if you know somebody, a friend that's having a hard time, that you can also definitely let them know that they can talk with their teachers, they can reach out to their coach, they can reach out to their school counselor or the school administrator. But please reach out to an adult that you're comfortable with, and you can even send them an email or request to chat with them on Teams. But I would urge you to put in the subject line urgent, so that we know, or they know, that alerts them to make sure that they pay attention to your email and that it's time sensitive. Here on this slide, you will see that if you're not comfortable with doing those things that I just mentioned, you can also use the Teen Link crisis line. The number is there for you. The crisis text line, which is free. It's confidential counseling 24/7. You could also use the Bellevue School District Counseling and Mental Health Hotline, as well as our nurse hotline. And then you can also check with your insurance company or have your parents check with your insurance company to see about connecting with a therapist. That's another option. And then, of course, our national suicide hotline is available as well. So those are all options that you can use to get help. Next slide, please. On the upper right-hand corner in that little bubble, you'll see some additional resources that are available as well. Our BSD counseling webpage is a good resource, as well as our BSD COVID-19 resource page. There's also some recommendations in terms of apps to help you. The Calm app, the Anxiety in Youth, the Happify, those are all additional resources. But today I really want to emphasize some additional opportunities that will be available for you to get help with your social emotional well-being. We still have our drop-in mental health counseling services, and those are going to continue. They're at Highland Middle School on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 4 o'clock. No appointments are needed. You can simply drop in on those days and times, and we can get you connected to either a school counselor, an MHAT counselor, a social worker, or a YES behavioral support specialist. This can be especially helpful for students whom, virtual counseling just doesn't work for them, or it just, just doesn't feel comfortable and they would rather see somebody in person. So that's an option. The second thing that we are going to be offering pretty soon here that I'm pretty excited about is that we're pleased to announce that we have a new BSD high school group that will be running. It's going to be ran by our YES behavioral health support specialists, Sam and Janie, at the high school level. And the group is called Agents of Change. It's inspired by sources of strength. It's a strength-based wellness program that encourages students to individually assess and develop strengths in their lives. So it really is the focus, or the goal of the group is to increase connectedness, to increase engagement in school, increase likelihood to refer a suicidal friend to an adult. It increases positive perception of adult support, and it increases acceptability of seeking help. The group is going to start February the 23rd, and it will be offered weekly on Tuesdays from 3 to 4 o'clock. It will run for a total of 12 weeks, and students have to register in advance in order to be a part and participate. So look out for the registration materials via your building principals and/or your counselor at your building. The third thing that I want to mention is that we are continuing our monthly community forum on mental health for the months of February, March, and April to help our students and parents learn about mental health. But more importantly, we provide information on how to get help. So in February, we're going to have a resiliency group or information. It's about how to help support resiliency, including student focus, managing stress, and building and maintaining healthy relationships. In the month of March, we're going to do a session on executive functioning, on how to get organized, how to organize your student and support challenging behavior. And then in April, we're going to do a anger management and a conflict management group, and that's how to support your student experiencing frustration and anger. Lastly, in April, we are going to, date is to be determined. We will offer a second session of wellness and resilience group by our, it's held by our MHAT team and the doctoral students that are in there. So plenty of opportunities here to help and support you. I understand that these are difficult times, but I believe that we can get through this with proper, with the proper support, and you can get through this with proper support. So please reach out, let us know if you need help, and any of those options that I talked about earlier would be helpful. Now I would like to introduce my esteemed colleague, Maria Freebos-G. She's the Director of Student Services.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm just going to review advanced placement testing in case there's any remaining questions. As you've probably already heard, the advanced placement program has communicated that they are prepared to meet schools and students where they're at this year. And the AP program is going to support in-school testing in May of 2021 because administering exams in schools maximizes access and opportunity. And they will provide a contingency testing option that has the full course content in case buildings are closed due to safety concerns and in-person testing isn't possible. The deadline to register for AP exams was October 30th. As you're aware, if students registered for AP exams this fall, AP will waive the $40 cancellation fee or unused exam fee, so all students can register with confidence. If you didn't register for the AP exam by October 30th and you would still like to test, you can still register. But please note a $40 late fee will be added to your registration by the College Board. Please see information about registering for AP exams on your school's websites. The AP exams will be administered over those 2 weeks in May, the first 2 weeks in May, but should social distancing be necessary, schools will have the additional options to ensure students, all students can be tested throughout the month, multiple dates in May. So students have also asked about International Baccalaureate testing. So the IB organization has made adaptations to all the IB subject groups, and these adaptations are intended to address disruptions associated with COVID-19 by ensuring more manageable, practical, and achievable testing and learning experiences. And I can assure you that the IB staff at Interlake are committed to ensuring that students are able to earn their IB diploma, and they are staying on top of new information and options provided by the IB organization. If you're an IB diploma candidate, I encourage you to check your BSD email for updates regarding assessments and the May testing session, which, if they're not already in your inbox, should be coming to you very soon. Now I would like to introduce Jeff Lowell, who will provide updates on athletics and activities.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Lowell. I'm the District Athletics and Activities Director and the Title IX Coordinator for the Bellevue School District. I would like to provide an update on where we are with high school sports seasons. And the first thing that really needs to be cleared up is who is making decisions. You know, you see being released in the news updates from the WIA, the governing body of high school sports in the state of Washington. And one of the things that needs to be really stated clearly is that the WIA has provided local conferences, local leagues, the ability to set schedules outside of WIA calendars for this year only, because it is, as we've said multiple times already today, really strange times, and each local league, each local conference needs the ability to set schedules based on what is best for the students in that particular conference. And so I want to be real clear with everyone that the KingCo conference, 9 school districts, 24 schools now have made a decision to set a schedule outside of the WIA calendar. And what that means for all of you is that this year we are targeting a potential start date of March 1st. And that is something that KingCo Conference school districts have made really clear to their communities. Current work that is being done right now is really focused on finalizing the framework for this upcoming season, making sure that all 9 school districts are totally lockstep and how those practices and potentially those competitions are going to be offered, really in alignment with the newly released at the very beginning of this month in January, the newly released metrics from the governor's office and the Department of Health. There are meetings scheduled for the remainder of this week and early into next week, and what we're really hoping is that there will be some very clear updates on this information that we'll be able to provide. So keep looking at your email, and as soon as that information is set by the 9 school districts of the KingCo conference, you guys will be part of the first group to know. And Mike, we can move to the next slide. Also want to make sure that everybody continues to focus in on the fact that each high school right now is offering virtual activities, remote activities and clubs. There is a full complement of these offerings at each school. At the beginning of the year, I was hearing from each school that they were overwhelmed by the number of individuals coming forward wanting to start clubs and do them remotely. And what I continue to hear from schools right now is that these remote opportunities have really hit a stride, and that they're providing a great many of our high school students with opportunities to connect in areas of interest. So they're going to continue right now for the time being. And as we continue as a district to look at in-person learning plans and those plans for in-person opportunities for clubs and activities will be part of that planning through the spring. So keep looking for those ways to connect with your classmates in your school, and as things move forward in the spring, those in-person opportunities will grow as well. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Arlene Scott, and Arlene will be talking about the high school and beyond plan.
Hi there, my name is Arlene Scott. I'm the College and Career Advisor for Sammamish High School. And the 3 other College and Career Advisors and myself will be walking you through the High School and Beyond plan. The High School and Beyond plan is required for high school graduation by the State of Washington Office of Superintendent of Public Instructions. Next slide. So what is the High School and Beyond plan? Well, it revolves around 3 questions. Who am I? What can I become? And how do I become that? As mentioned, it's a State of Washington graduation requirement, which means every student graduating in the State of Washington is going to fulfill this somehow or another. And it's designed to help you get the most out of high school and think about your future. Over the past years, students work with, or over the course of their 4 years, students work with school counselors and advisors to create their own individual plan and their post-secondary goals. And the post-secondary aspirations have many paths. They can include 4-year colleges or universities, a 2-year community or technical school, apprenticeship programs, certification programs, military training, or on-the-job training. Next slide. So listed on this slide are the components of the High School and Beyond plan. And what we are asking you by the end of junior year is to have completed the first 5. The 4-year course plan, the game plan survey, the career interest profiler, your resume, and the graduation pathway survey. And you may have already started or completed some of these at this point. In senior year, you're going to be looking at doing the financial aid survey after you've received information on financial aid, and for your post-secondary plans, and the graduation survey. So these may not even be listed for you at this point in time. One thing I want to point out is that most of these tasks take 10 to 15 minutes to complete. I want to put that into perspective, and I want to show that this is not as daunting as it may first appear. And the vehicle for Bellevue School District to complete the High School and Beyond plan is Naviance. Next slide. There's 2 ways to log on to Naviance. First, from your desktop, there should be a Clever button. Your username and password are the same as your school laptop login. So if needed, that's what you would use. Or there is a website way to access as well, which is listed here on the slide as well. At this point, parents and guardians will need to use their students' login, but stay tuned for changes to this over the coming school year. Next slide. Now, how do I know what tasks to complete? The first thing you will do, of course, is log into Naviance. And in the top right menu, you'll select My Planner and then click on Tasks. Next slide. Your assigned tasks will open, and scroll down to see what tasks you need to work on. The ones marked graduation are the tasks you must do prior to graduation. And as mentioned before, the senior survey will be assigned in May of your graduation year, and the financial aid survey may not have been assigned to you yet, but the others should be. Now, there's going to be a number of tasks on there that say required or recommended, and these are really good to do, but they're not actually required for graduation, just the ones marked graduation. I do suggest that you take advantage of the things Naviance can provide and try out some of these other tasks, because you will get benefit from them. or you will benefit from them, sorry. Next slide. So, first task, what is the 4-year course plan? It's the 4-year plan for high school course taking. The plan must fulfill state and local graduation requirements, and the plan should be updated regularly to align with the student's career and educational goals. Likely many of you have started this, but if not, there's not a problem. You can create one now. Next slide. To create or update your 4-year plan on Naviance, you'll click on Courses on the menu bar at the top right. Click Manage Course Plans. If you've started a plan, you'll update it. If you haven't created a plan yet, click the red button to begin. Now, if you don't see the exact course you planned to complete or have already completed, please just pick an equivalent course so you can complete the plan. It does not have to match exactly. The next couple of slides just are kind of the nuts and bolts of what you're supposed to be aiming towards. So manage course plans. Next slide, please. Once you're in, you're going to either click on your in progress BSD high school graduation plan, or you're going to click the red button for a new plan. And now I hand the presentation over to Jose Valdez, College and Career Advisor for Interlake High School.
Hello. So now we're going to go over the game plan survey. The game plan survey helps create a plan for achieving your goals after high school. Next. Okay, and here are the steps to finding the game plan. First, you'll click on the About Me tab, and then under that, you'll find the My Post-Secondary Plans, and then click on Game Plan. Next. And then here are some screenshots to help you find it, like mentioned before. All right, next. All right, and then when working on the game plan survey, you will either have to type in your answers or click on the arrows and choose answers from the drop-down menu. All right, next. All right, and then another component of the High School and Beyond plan is the Career Interest Profiler. So this profiler is an online career interest assessment that allows students to complete an inventory which analyzes their own interests and pairs the results with potential career matches. Next. All right, and then here are some steps to finding that. So first, you'll click on the Careers tab, and then click on the Explore Careers and Interests, and then click on Career Interest Profiler. And then here are some more screenshots of how to find that. And the next slide will show more. On the right, you'll see what the actual survey looks like, and you'll just click Start to continue that one. And now, Lisa Hansen, the College and Career Advisor from Bellevue High School.
You're muted, Lisa.
Thank you. Sorry. Good afternoon. I'm Lisa from Bellevue High School, and I am going to talk to you about the resume component of the High School and Beyond plan. So there's two ways that you can actually fulfill this requirement. You can either upload a resume if you already have one, or you can walk through the resume builder in Naviance. If you have an existing resume that you've done maybe for another job or volunteer opportunity or an internship, it doesn't have to be, there's no specific requirements that you need in your resume. It just needs to be, you know, a one-page summary that's about you, your experiences, and your expertise. So if you want to upload an existing resume to Naviance, these are the tasks that you're going to need to do, just like Jose and Arlene kind of presented. You're going to go to the My Planner and click on Tasks. And then you're going to want to filter your list by tasks assigned to me. And then under that, you'll see a create update resume. So you click on that, and then you will see a button that allows you to add files. So you're going to want to click that drop files and browse, and then just select your document from your computer and click upload. If you have any issues with this, or if you have trouble getting it to upload, just email it to your college and career advisor. We also can upload it for you on your behalf. If you haven't done a resume before and you want to walk through the resume builder in Naviance, you're going to go similarly to the About Me section. Then you can click on My Stuff and you can select resume from there. This is what it's going to look like, just kind of in the upper right, that About Me section, My Stuff, and then the select the resume link there. Then it's going to bring up a screen that kind of looks like this, and it prompts you to fill in information in different categories. So you'll be able to put in your objective, you know, a summary of experiences that you've done, you know, different expertise that you have. And so you kind of, you have these little boxes and you click edit and you can add things to them as you go. Once you have completed your resume through the resume builder, you're going to get to a screen that looks like this, and it's going to list your saved resumes in there. It'll also give you an option to print and download it. So if you want to go ahead and download it and save it, then you'll be able to use it in the future. It won't be tied to Naviance. But make sure that you click all the way through to this step. It's easy to kind of get all the boxes filled in and think you're done, but Naviance will mark that task as in progress until you actually advance through to this page when it'll flip it to complete. So in terms of completing your high school and beyond plan, you want to make sure that Naviance section is fully complete. And now I am going to pass it on to Vanessa Lopez-Kopp, the College and Career Advisor from Newport High School.
Hi everyone. I am going to talk about the graduation pathway survey. This is new to the high school and beyond plan this year. Completing the graduation pathway survey shows that you're aware of the multiple ways that you can meet the Washington State Math and English Language Arts Assessment requirements. You must indicate which of the pathways you have met or plan to meet. You only need to choose one of the pathways by selecting the box that says, "This is my pathway." You can choose more than one if that applies to you. After selecting your pathway, all other pathways should be marked, "This is not my pathway." If you don't have the scores or information that you need at the time of completing the survey, it's okay. Just mark it save and come back. When you have fully completed the survey, you can mark it as save and finish. Next, Maria will share information with us regarding testing options.
So Washington State has established several graduation pathways that allow students to meet the Math and English Language Arts testing requirement. The Smarter Balanced exam is just one of those pathways. Students can also use ACT with writing or SAT with essay. They can use AP and IB exam scores. They can use AP, IB, and college and the high school courses. Or they can use an approved sequence of career and technical or CTE courses. A new option for us this year is the ASVAB exam. The Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, or ASVAB, will be offered in BSD for the first time this year in February and March. This is the same exam given to qualify to serve in the armed forces. However, schools can give this exam free of charge to provide information on career exploration, and students can use these scores to meet the Math and English Language Arts testing requirements. BSD will not be releasing any student scores to military recruiters. However, students can share their scores on the ASVAB should they choose military service as their next step after graduation. Check your BSD email for the junior class of 2022 update with information on how to register. Most students will meet the requirements of more than one pathway. If you have not yet met a graduation pathway, your counselor will be working with you to make sure there is a plan in place to meet at least one of them. And now, back to Vanessa.
To complete the graduation pathway survey, you log on to Naviance and you click on My Planner on the top right, and then you click on tasks under tasks you need to work on, and then you can click on complete my graduation pathways, and we'll see a visual of it on the next slide. So this just shows you how to log on. So completing your graduation pathway helps prepare students for what comes after high school. And if you have any questions or need any help, please feel free to reach out to your home high school's college and career advisor. We're happy to help you. Next, we'll hear from Jeff Lowell, who will share information on directed athletics.
Hello again, and some of you may be thinking PE credits and making sure that you get your PE credits taken care of. And I want to make sure that you understand the directed athletics option that's available, and that's getting PE credit through a sport, and that sport can be either a school-based sport or a community-based sport. And there's some steps that you have to take to make sure that you get through with this this procedure completely, and you would be considered, or we can consider then the activity that you're involved in. There are two parts to this, just like it says there. There's the participation aspect of this particular procedure, and then there's actually the proficiency. So participation, pretty self-explanatory. You actually have to sign up for and participate in a sport, either a school-based sport or that community-based sport. And then the proficiency is actually completing a test. And to do that, you can actually go to the BSD website and go to the Athletics and Activities department page and look for the Earn PE Credit link to the right. And once you go there, you'll have all the instructions there. So including links to the application, to the hours log, everything that you need to make sure that you can get through with the entire process. The other important question that people may have in the back of their head right now is what happens if things aren't quite normal, even more strange than they are right now. And the instructions for this year are really clear and give some clear guidance as to what would end up happening if a student is in the middle of a season and something unintentional happened and they aren't able to complete that season for some reason outside of their control, just like we saw last spring. And really, if you have any questions about this particular procedure, the best thing to do is just to email me directly, and I can end up helping you and your counselor end up walking through this, this particular option for you, and make sure that you have everything you need to get it completed. Okay, but real easily, you can go to the website, read up on it. You do have to sign up, and like I said earlier on, we do have options that with a target date of March 1st starting. So we should be able to get kids through this particular opportunity, should that be what they're choosing to complete this graduation requirement. And moving on next, we have high school counselors talking about the college application process and supports.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Schultz, counselor at Newport High School. And many ask, what impact will temporary virtual learning have on college entrance? The vast majority of public schools are operating virtually. Last spring, we saw that colleges and universities demonstrated flexibility, compassion, and understanding with district shifts in grading, reporting, and impacts on students. Colleges and universities recognize shifts that are necessary in college entrance practices. Many colleges and universities have shifted their practices and are no longer requiring SAT or ACT scores for admissions considerations. There are many supports available for the college application process that we have in place. Some of these include junior counselor lessons that we just completed in January, the PSAT that we're offering next week on Tuesday, January 26th, the Bellevue School District Virtual College Conference coming up in February, junior Blitz appointments that we will be doing in March and April during our class registration time, college application workshops with counselors that will take place in May and June, college essay writing lessons that take place in June in many of our English classes, college application workshops with counselors that will take place next September and October. And then we also have senior Blitz meetings, which are individual student appointments with counselors that will take place next September and October with your students' counselors. Additionally, in January, counselors and college and career advisors presented lessons for all of our juniors. We delivered a guidance lessons where we discussed wellness information, post-secondary planning, the high school and beyond plan, and Naviance research tools. This PowerPoint is available for all of you to view on the individual high school websites. This upcoming May and June, college counselors and college and career advisors will go back into the classroom and present another lesson, as well as multiple college workshops. The topics may include college application process, essay writing, the letter of recommendation process, continuing to build and narrow your college list, financial aid and scholarship information, the high school and beyond plan. During this town hall, we aren't specifically explaining these topics now, but more information will be shared with students and parents in May and June. I would now like to welcome Sarah Manesh Berger, a counselor from Bellevue High School.
All right, thank you for that. So another one of the events that we had mentioned earlier that's coming up, I really want to make sure that you all are aware of and save the date for, is our BSD Virtual College Conference, which is on Wednesday, February 10th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. And this is all virtual this year. We have a keynote speaker, Paul Siegert, Director of Admissions from the University of Washington. And this is one of my favorite events that the district puts on every year. It's always phenomenal. There are a lot of great sessions to choose from. So students and families have 3 different sessions they can choose to attend. Some of the examples of the things that we'll be covering, although there are many that we're not mentioning, but these are just some examples: college application process, admissions process at private colleges, financial aid, Washington State public universities, fine arts and performing arts colleges, and the college essay writing process. Definitely recommend that all students attend this with their parents and guardians, especially juniors. This is a really important time while you're starting to be thinking about these things to attend these sessions. One of the pros of this conference being virtual this year is that the sessions will be recorded and posted afterwards. So if there are just so many good sessions, you don't know which ones to go to, you do get to pick 3 the night of, and then you can watch the rest later at that link there. So we mentioned the college essay. So each year, one of the things that colleges most like to hear is the student voice. They want to hear from the student. And this really comes through in the college essay and those writing pieces that students will submit to their colleges. There are a lot of supports, like we've been mentioning, about this process. College essay prompts tend to not change too drastically from year to year, so students can get a head start on them now. College essay writing session at the college conference, which I just mentioned, is a really great session that I definitely recommend juniors attend to kind of get your gears going, start thinking about those college essays and how to be writing those. We also hold other essay writing workshops through their home high schools. And as Karen mentioned, that in some of our junior English classes, your students may be starting to be working on those with their English teachers. Stay tuned for additional details from your student school about what's happening this spring. And I want to go a little bit more in depth into what is junior and senior Blitz. So we're starting to talk about this. It's kind of right around the corner, really. So in March and April, every single junior will meet with their counselor one-to-one in an individual appointment. We'll begin processing future plans beyond high school, help pick classes for your senior year, making sure that they align with your goals and what you want to do after high school. And we'll also discuss that graduation pathway that we mentioned earlier as well, related to state testing or your high school and beyond plan. So we'll kind of cover everything. And then in September and October, we follow up with a senior Blitz, which is, again, similar meeting where the students meet with their counselors one-on-one and continue that conversation, that planning of those post-secondary goals, whether that be go to college, join the military, go to work, an apprenticeship, gap year, whatever it might be. And we're going to go over what exactly is needed from that student and from the counselor in that process. Ensure that all classes are in the right schedule for graduation, and then make sure that that graduation pathway is in place for your student. So now I'm going to turn it back over for some closing remarks.
Thank you to all of our presenters for sharing such a wealth of information, and juniors and families, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Should you have additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You can access the Let's Talk button on the Bellevue School District and on individual schools' websites. You can email your school counselor or college and career advisors, or you're welcome to email me at frieboem@bsd405.org, and I'd be happy to answer questions and help in any way. The PowerPoint and recording from our junior town hall will be posted online. As soon as they're available, I'll send a quick email to alert everyone to the locations in case you'd like to watch it again or if you missed it. Thank you, everyone. Take care and have a great afternoon.